Against the biggest-selling antidepressant in the world. 3 years ago, Prozac hit the market in a whirlwind of publicity and praise. Today, more than 3.5 million patients worldwide are treated with Prozac. And for most people, it's very effective. If you're one of them, it's important you not stop taking Prozac without consulting your doctor. But there are new concerns about the drug. Allegations that can cause some people to act violently, to commit suicide, or even homicide. More than 50 civil suits have been filed against Eli Lilly, the company that makes the drug. And now the so-called Prozac defense is being used in criminal trials. Sylvia Chase begins with a case in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I couldn't believe I shot him because I can't see myself shooting nobody.
But Rebecca McStutes did shoot someone. The doctor who first gave her Prozac for depression. 5 months later, Dr. John Tapp says she came to his office for no apparent reason on a Saturday in March of 1990.
I was writing notes in my chart and felt her move closer to my back. I turned around and she shot me right there. And I said, "Rebecca, what have you done?" She says, "I ain't finished with you yet."
But the gun jammed after the first shot, and Dr. Tapp emerged from the ordeal with a single bullet wound in his neck. McStutes says she has no memory of the crime, but later insisted the Prozac made her do it.
Were you angry at Dr. Tapp?
No, ma'am, I was not. I've never been angry at Dr. Tapp.
Are you angry at him now?
No. I have no reason to be upset at Dr. Tapp. If anything, Dr. Tapp has plenty of reason to be mad at, upset at me.
It took a Bowling Green, Kentucky jury just 1 hour to convict McStutes of assault in the first degree. She's been sentenced to 10 years, but her conviction is being appealed by public defender Kelly Thompson.
She had no motive. She had no previous criminal history. She had no previous mental history. And she goes down and shoots a doctor, and she had never shot a gun in her life.
Thompson showed us a mini pharmacy found in McStutes' medicine cabinet. Although she was prescribed such mood-altering drugs as Elavil, Serax, and Valium, he believes it was the Prozac that pushed her over the edge.
You're saying that Rebecca McStutes was not responsible for her conduct because...
Because Prozac left her involuntarily intoxicated.
Steve Wilson was the prosecuting attorney.
Well, my theory of it is she wasn't on any medication. Yet Mr. Thompson found Prozac in her many prescriptions, and he said, "Here is a defense."
The so-called Prozac defense is being used in at least 20 cases involving violent criminal behavior, with almost no success until April of this year. In California, 75-year-old Mildred Johnson was charged with first-degree murder for shooting her husband, but was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and received a suspended sentence. The jury was convinced that her behavior had been influenced by Prozac. Harvard professor and psychopharmacologist Martin murder for shooting her husband, but was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and received a suspended sentence. The jury was convinced that her behavior had been influenced by Prozac. Harvard professor and psychopharmacologist Martin Teicher testified for Mrs. Johnson, even though he's skeptical of the Prozac defense.
I think the bulk of the claims is an act of desperation on the part of the lawyer, and Prozac had nothing to do with it. I think in some of the claims, Prozac simply energized patients to act in a way they may well have acted anyway. And I think in some of them, Prozac did produce a state of mania or a state of paranoia that led them to act in a way that was very uncharacteristic, given all of their prior history.
Prozac is a breakthrough antidepressant used with great success since it came on the market in 1988. Unlike older remedies, Prozac was found to ease depression without causing long-term side effects like drowsiness or dry mouth or weight gain. However, a small percentage of patients on any antidepressant will not respond well to the drug. And last year, Dr. Teicher made a discovery about Prozac and suicide, which has become the centerpiece of the lawyer's case against the drug. Teicher reported that out of 172 hospital patients treated for depression with Prozac, 6 became suicidal when their doses were raised to 80 milligrams per day, the maximum recommended dose.
Even if we saw this occur in one patient, it's medically significant to point this out as a side effect. You don't have to have 6. 6 is actually a lot for a case series about a side effect.
I thank Dr. Teicher every morning. I pray for that man every morning.
Bonnie Leitch attempted suicide in 1989, just 6 weeks after she started taking Prozac. She continued taking the drug until she read about Dr. Teicher's study.
I showed this to my husband. I says, my God, this is me he wrote about. These were my symptoms, and this is what happened to me. That very day, I began to come off that drug.
Though her doctor disagrees, Mrs. Leitch claims she's never suffered from depression. She thought the Prozac was a pick-me-up, but it made her manic.
I could have killed someone and would have had no remorse for it whatsoever.
You could have killed someone?
Well, I'm sure. I think if my husband would have fallen over dead, and let me tell you, I do love my husband, but at that time, if he'd have fallen over dead at my feet, I would have been angry because he was in my way.
She has organized a Prozac survivors group and received hundreds of letters from all over the world. She hears a lot of stories that sound just like her own.
I was on it first from March of '88, and 6 weeks later, the 10th of May of '88, I tried to commit suicide.
Donna says Prozac was the most powerful antidepressant she had ever taken. Within days, she says, she felt out of control. Yvonne has been treated for depression for many years, but her family had never seen anything like the reaction she had to Prozac.
I was very hostile, very aggressive, completely paranoid, just mad at the world.
Leonard Finns represents Bonnie and 50 other people who are suing Eli Lilly, claiming that Prozac is unsafe.
I say Prozac works rather well for a certain segment of the patient population. As to a smaller segment of that population, it is a nightmare.
Greer and the students.
It's been the most valuable experience probably of my life. If I just went to the classroom, I think I'd be very unhappy and disillusioned because you don't really see what the real world is like.
Before they graduate, Sarah Ann Lee and her classmates are required to spend some part of their education treating the homeless. Studies show that more than any other segment of the population, homeless people have the highest incidence of all diseases. We know a lot of them have AIDS, but they also have diseases we don't often see anymore, like tuberculosis or leprosy. So the streets provide a natural laboratory for students who want to learn not only about medical ills, but also about some of the nation's worst social ills.
This is the best experience in the world for them. Because this is getting down to what they call the real nitty-gritty. This is it.
Diane has been living under the expressway for more than a year. Sarah Ann has brought her some spray to kill the fleas in the box she calls home. The young medical student doesn't like what she sees. She urges Diane to come to the clinic for a checkup. But Diane says she's okay, at least for now.
Okay, what about over here? Little bit.
At the homeless clinic, called Camilla's House Health Concern, the medical students get instruction from doctors on how to diagnose and treat the patients who fill the examining rooms.
You can go ahead and pull out.
You know?
That's fine, yeah, it's funny.
They are learning a larger lesson as well.
I mean, if in fact we're really a noble profession, then we shouldn't hide behind just taking care of those people that can afford to pay for it. We should recognize that we have a responsibility that's broader.
It keeps bringing me back down to why I went into medicine in the first place, which is to help people.
For the homeless, the program provides health care they might otherwise not receive, and the dignity of knowing that they matter.
And a lot of people come by, you know, and they look, and they wouldn't dare come up under here, you know, because they're afraid. But we say that you don't have to be afraid because we're human. You know, it's just that we live a different life. But we're human.
At the University of Miami Medical School, students are being taught that doctors have a responsibility, even an obligation, to provide treatment not just for those Americans who can afford it, but for any American who needs it. Carol Simpson, ABC News, Miami.
We'll have more news in just a moment.
Brothers' new Glade Potpourri Pump. The freshness of potpourri now in a pump. Spray it, shake it, or pump it.
For powerful,
Reliever that's strong, effective relief.
No matter what you hear, remember this. Just one Motrin IB is as effective as 2 of those. So if you want really strong relief, which medicine would you take?
You've been driving for nearly 2 decades. You've had your license renewed a number of times. Isn't it time you had your spirit renewed as well?
If your doctor has recommended Metamucil and you like the results, but you don't like those glasses of thick liquid, change to FiberCon. Get the same fiber action in easy-to-swallow tablets. Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
Auto accidents that aren't accidents at all. Crooked doctors and lawyers giving a crash course in insurance fraud.
This is organized crime.
Prime Time, Undercover, tonight.
Finally, here this evening, the National Rifle Association has decided to mount a new campaign against gun control. The powerful gun lobby is threatening to take the Chicago Public Housing Authority to court because the Housing Authority bans people living in the housing projects from owning guns. Chicago's police superintendent, Leroy Martin, says the NRA is being irresponsible. The NRA says it's a question of a resident's constitutional rights. Here's ABC's Chris Bury.
The projects, as they are called, are home to 150,000 tenants, all poor, most black. Gunshots are so frequent that residents board windows for protection.
I have people who sleep in bathtubs because of random gunfire.
To fight back, the Chicago Housing Authority has recently enforced a 20-year-old ban on guns and begun police sweeps to find them. But the National Rifle Association argues that is unconstitutional and leaves law-abiding tenants unprotected.
It is well established that the best deterrent to crime is citizenry with firearms who know how to use firearms.
If you arm everybody, we will revert back to the days of the Wild West.
It is so wild now that 71 people were killed in Chicago's projects last year, nearly all shot to death.
95% of the people get shot in public houses are young black men. So you don't want that to stop? I do.
Most tenants support the ban on guns, but a few said they would feel safer with firearms.
You might get stuck up, somebody might break in your house, and you don't have no way to protect yourself.
Chicago's police chief has invited NRA lobbyists to see for themselves what it's like to live in public housing.
I want them to go in there and live and sleep in the bathtub and put the 3/4-inch plywood to the living room window to keep the bullets out. Go in there and live, and I'll pay the rent.
Not only the police chief, but the mayor and the city council plan to fight the NRA in court. And tenants here wonder why the gun lobby chose such a curious and crime-ridden target. In a place so mean and so violent that dodging bullets is part of growing up, few here can fathom how anyone could consider more guns an answer to anything.
These people don't need any guns over here. They definitely don't need any guns.
Chris Bury, ABC News, Chicago.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Thursday, it all started with 4 fake monks from Sardinia.
Pistol Packin' Sisters join Father Dowling. Then, it's a flashback to the past. We're eloping tonight. And a peek at the future.
There could be life on Mars.
Critics are calling it enchanting, impressive. A special 1-hour My Life in Times Thursday.
This is Michiana's weather with Newswatch 28's Michelle Hamrick.
Good evening, everybody. We've had some very muggy, moist conditions the past couple of days. Those are going to continue at the top of the hour tonight. 6 o'clock temperature is 76 degrees. We have some hazy skies, some scattered thunder showers out there. The winds out of the west, 5 miles an hour. Relative humidity right now, 71%. Atmospheric pressures falling over ½ an inch of precipitation so far. We are headed for more also tonight. Diane Daniels continues profiling Michiana's neighborhoods. Tonight, Diane's going to be on the west side of South Bend. Stay tuned. Newswatch 28 is next.
This is 28 WSJV Television. And now, live from Indiana and Michigan, this is Michiana's first two-state newscast, Newswatch 28, with Mike Nikitas, Michelle Gary, Mitch Roberts Sports, Michelle Hemrick's Weather, and Michigan Bureau Chief David Scott.
Good evening. Michelle Gary is off tonight. A South Bend woman came home this afternoon to a terrifying scene. Her 20-year-old daughter had been murdered. The murder happened at this home on Clayton Drive. Police say the woman who lives here had gone grocery shopping and found her daughter dead an hour later when she returned.
She came back and she put her groceries away, not knowing that her daughter was upstairs in another room in the house, and she had been bound, and she was dead when the paramedics got here.
Police dogs were called out to search the neighborhood, but so far no one has been arrested. Police aren't sure how the woman was murdered. She was not shot or stabbed. They're not sure if she was raped. The top floor of the home was ransacked, but police say there are no signs of a struggle or forced entry, and they have not so far identified the victim. We are well into the first day of the second special session of the Indiana legislature, and there are no agreements on the budget or redistricting, the two issues that legislators can't agree on. Governor Bai called this second special session earlier today.
I think giving them a vacation, letting them have a so-called cooling off period is not the right thing. I think keeping them at their job, at their desks, nose to the grindstone is the right thing to do until they finish their job. I think that's what Hoosiers understand, and frankly, I think that's what the public has a right to expect.
The House went back into session for the third time today, about a half hour ago, and could conceivably vote on a combined budget and redistricting bill sometime tonight. Senate Leader Robert Garten told us the Senate met for a few minutes to take attendance this afternoon and is just waiting for the House to pass bills that senators can act on. We'll keep you posted. Indiana pro-lifers are claiming victory while pro-choice forces are regrouping after today's Supreme Court ruling on abortion. The newest Supreme Court Justice, David Souter, sided with the majority in favor of the ruling, which says that clinics which receive federal funding cannot discuss abortion as an option with pregnant women. Indiana Right to Life says the ruling ensures that federal money won't be used to herd women into the abortion industry. On the other hand, the director of Planned Parenthood of North Central Indiana, Elizabeth Mooney, says the court has dealt a blow to the young and poor women of this country. She says the clinic's board of directors has not yet decided whether it will continue to accept federal funds. Elsewhere tonight, there are reports of impending layoffs at Miles Incorporated in Elkhart, the maker of Alka-Seltzer and other consumer health products. A Miles corporate spokesman said today the company is in the preliminary stages of restructuring the consumer healthcare division, but he couldn't say when layoffs might occur. Corporate Communications Vice President Barry Cohn says Miles is committed to the over-the-counter market, but said earlier this year the company may have to make changes to remain competitive. What happened, or what appeared to be a tragic drowning in St. Joe, Michigan, may have been a much more serious crime. We turn now to our Michigan Bureau, where Adam Shapiro is standing by live with more. Adam?
Mike, the Berrien County prosecutor refuses to discuss the case, but his office is investigating the drowning of 16-year-old Eric McGinnis. His body was found yesterday in the St. Joseph River. He had been missing since last week. An autopsy ruled the cause of death as drowning, with no apparent evidence of foul play. But today, St. Joseph police turned the case over to the county prosecutor. Employees of the former Waterville Paper Company are suing their old medical insurance company. The 25 workers are seeking at most $500,000 they say the insurance company should have paid them, but didn't. American Community Mutual Insurance canceled the employees' coverage in 1989, saying the old paper company hadn't paid its premium. Employees weren't told of the cancellation until 5 months later, even though the paper company continued to deduct money for medical coverage from their paychecks. Elementary school children in Berrien Springs witnessed a drug bust this morning and saw the hands of justice act swiftly. The Berrien Springs Police Department staged the fake drug bust and court session to teach kids about the legal system. It all took place at the 1839 courthouse. After the phony drug bust, the accused drug dealer and buyers were whisked off to court for a mock trial.
It's also designed to show the kids that the court system works in punishing the guilty and letting the innocent people go free.
This is Respect for Law Week in Berrien County. Organizers say it's important for children to see the legal system in action. Mike, back to you.
Thanks, Adam. The consumer news now. Your salad is going to cost you more soon. Grocery stores are warning that the price of lettuce is expected to soar over the weekend. The recent rains in Southern California damaged some of the crop, and supplies are very low. In fact, no lettuce was shipped from California on Monday, and only a partial shipment was sent out Tuesday. But as Kevin Freeman reports, this lettuce crisis should be a short one.
When produce wholesaler Chip Healy opens his storage refrigerator, there's an empty wall where boxes of lettuce normally stand. He says the lettuce has become hard to come by, and what is available is very expensive.
Last year, this day, I paid $8.50 per carton of lettuce, an example. Beginning of this week, I was quoted $17.50, but it did not get delivered. The next one came in was $26 on Tuesday.
The price in Healy's store reads $1.99, but even if someone is willing to pay it, there isn't any lettuce to buy. Produce experts say the heavy rains that followed the recent drought in Southern California washed out the early lettuce crop.
Where some of the larger stores might decide to take advantage of the situation, and if they've been guaranteed numbers of receiving lettuce, they may toss it out as a lost leader. Some people might be able to go out there and scarf down lettuce for 99 cents a head.
Close, but not quite. The price of lettuce at this Philposh store in Elkhart is 89 cents a head, but the store's produce manager says by next week, that price could almost double.
Supplies will be down. That'll drive the price up. We're looking at about $1.59 starting Monday.
Oswald says that price could fluctuate. Philposh can either raise the price or they can keep the price down to keep customers happy. Smaller wholesalers are asking the public not to buy lettuce to force suppliers to lower the prices.
I don't agree with that. If you want a salad, you'll pay the price for it. They're not just jacking the prices up just to make more money. It's because of the supply is down.
Since lettuce crops are being planted all the time, the shortage isn't expected to last long. Produce suppliers expect the crop to be back in the green in 2 weeks. Kevin Freeman, Newswatch 28.
When we come back, we're going live to the west side of South Bend for night 4 of our tour of Michiana's neighborhoods. Tonight, the West Washington Chapin Street neighborhood, an older neighborhood in transition. Stay with us.
How do you find the right heating and cooling system? Electric, LP, natural gas, oil, maybe a heat pump. There's so many factors to balance. A Michiana Heat Pump Association member will do a complete analysis of your home and balance all those factors. He'll explain various heating cooling systems to find the right system for you. He'll tell you if you'll be more comfortable with a heat pump or if you need another system. Guaranteed. So before you buy, call 1-800-426-PUMP and talk to someone you can be comfortable with.
Walk into Midwest Commerce Bank and enjoy your new family room. Walk through our door and into the future. Or take the fast route to a new car.
We offer consumer loans for any good reason. Banking the way it ought to be.
The right insurance protection for you or your company is more complex today than ever. That's why it pays to contact Tower Insurance Agency in Elkhart, the people who care just a little bit more.
Mercury Sable. The style, original. The choice, smart. Together, it's quite a combination. And Car and Driver agrees. For the second year in a row, it's one of their 10 best. Mercury Sable. The original. At your Lincoln Mercury dealer now.
Tonight we go back to South Bend in our fourth segment on Michiana's fascinating neighborhoods. Tonight, the West Washington Chapin Street neighborhood. It's probably the most diverse neighborhood in South Bend, as well as the city's oldest. And our Diane Daniels is out on the east edge of the neighborhood at one of its architectural treasures, the old Oliver House, which is now a museum, Diane.
That's right, Mike. I'm at the Kopsche Museum. It just opened up last August. And Mother Nature has let up a little bit. The rain has stopped here, but earlier in the day we had some kind of inclement weather, so the people of the neighborhood did have the good sense to stay inside and stay dry. But this really is a neighborhood of true diversity, as you mentioned. People of many ethnic backgrounds live here, as well as people from virtually every end of the social and economic spectrum. And although this museum is probably one of the most beautiful places in the city of South Bend, you really don't have to travel too far down the street to find a far different aspect of the neighborhood, and it's one that the people of the area are trying to change. Old, dilapidated buildings like this one started to come down this spring farther west on Washington Street in the 1200 block. There are plans to tear down a total of 26 eyesores in the surrounding two-block area. A variety of neighborhood groups in this area have been working together for 5 years to clean up these blocks. It used to be this was a commercial district here in South Bend's first and oldest neighborhood.
This we do not see as a real viable commercial district at this point, really because of transportation purposes, and we've got Western Avenue over here on the south and Lincoln Way West on the north, and so we think that really it becomes a more intact neighborhood in a safe and quiet neighborhood that's residential. And
Jeff Gibney and Carl Works both live in this neighborhood, and they're leading efforts to put up affordable housing on West Washington within the next 2 years.
The West Washington Street area has been a problem for the entire community for some time, not only from the standpoint of drugs and crime, but for the perception that it causes for the rest of this neighborhood, that this is a bad place to live. That's just not true. This is a very good place to live. I live here.
Works lives just a few blocks from West Washington in this lovely 1887 Queen Anne. He was able to buy the home for $13,000. But back on Washington Street, you find that not everyone in this neighborhood is enthused about the demolition and new housing plans. Works says those people are in the minority.
Y'all could have fixed it up and left the people up here, you know. We're going to miss this block up here. It's a lot of memories up here. We've been living here all our lives.
And the memories that will be created will be far better than the ones that will be left behind.
Lamar and Karen Grady are among those making new memories in this neighborhood. Last year, they purchased this house on Napier, a home in which they take great pride. Like these boys, Lamar grew up in the neighborhood, and he believes it's experiencing a comeback.
Because of the people, you know, that was living around here. A lot of break-in, people taking stuff just by you walking down the street, but it ain't so now.
Karen Grady is all for what's happening and being planned for West Washington.
I was told already our house has come up $5,000 just since they tore a few houses down. And within 5 years, all of these houses the value will go up. Even if it's 1,000 or 2, they're still going to go up. So that would give everybody a good incentive to try and work really hard to improve.
And joining me live right now is the director of the Northern Indiana Historical Society, Kathleen Mullins. Thanks for being with us. Now, tell us how many people have been here to the museum just since you opened in August, and what is it they see here?
We're very pleased. We've already had over 15,000 people visit Kopsche Home since we did open in the end of August. And what they get to see is the beautiful new Leighton Gallery and then Kopsche Home, the home of the Oliver family. And we have most of the 38 rooms of the mansion open, complete with their original furnishings, the way the family left it.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about the future plans here.
The next phase of our project is the building of the new History Center, and there's an approximately 50,000 square foot museum which will be going south of the Leighton Gallery, and there's a small craftsman's cottage which we will be restoring, so that'll be part of it too. We'll have 2 house museums actually.
All right, it sounds exciting. We'll look forward to that. Thank you. And we would like to remind you that we'll be live again as we wrap up our neighborhood series tomorrow night at 6 in Mishawaka on the West End.
Diane, that was really interesting. There seems to be a lot of optimism out there, and that's heartening.
That is.
Thanks, Diane. Well, it's been raining on and off today, and that's keeping things cooler. It's also keeping things muggy. Michelle has the forecast when we come back.
Visit the the newest and most beautiful condominium development in Michiana, Sandpiper Cove. Sandpiper Cove is a planned community quietly tucked away in a country setting on Lilac Road near Darden. These condominiums in the $80,000 price range feature gas appliances and luxurious amenities. There's a clubhouse with pool, sauna, fitness, and more. But come see it yourself. Visit Sandpiper Cove any Saturday or Sunday from 1 to 4 or weekdays from 9 till 12 noon. Sandpiper Cove on Lilac Road, the perfect place, the perfect space. Offered exclusively by Coldwell Banker.
My bank isn't my bank anymore. They've changed the name. Things aren't the same. I'm a number, nothing more. I can't find one friendly face. Don't ask me who owns the place. The more I look, it's clear to see. First Source is the place to be.
First Source, a strong, solid hometown bank that spent over a century doing whatever it takes to grow with you, not outgrow you. First Source Bank, your partners from the first.
Come on! Tent sales don't sell cars. Neither do balloons or confetti. Deals sell cars, and we're prepared to deal during the no tent sale. No gimmicks, no silly games, just the best deals possible on every quality-built Chrysler and Plymouth in stock. So, if you can live without all that hype, round up your title or payment book and hurry down to your Chrysler Plymouth dealer's no tent sale.
See your Michiana Chrysler Plymouth dealer and get the Chrysler Plymouth Advantage.
Wow, Mom, it was great. Dad kicked it all the way to the Johnson's yard.
Really? David, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be right back.
When you need a doctor or have questions about your health, call the professionals at Memorial Hospital. We'll find a doctor who fits your needs and answer your questions over the phone.
No, I just twisted it, but boy, it hurts.
Well, keeping it elevated should help with the swelling. Do you have a doctor you can call?
The professionals. Healthy answers from people who know. At Memorial Hospital of South Bend.
A little cooler, but still warm and still muggy, Michelle.
Yes, still muggy. It looks like it's going to stay that way, Mike. We have a hot and muggy week in progress. Statistically today, we've had a little bit of rain on and off. We hit a high, actually 79 degrees. Normals top out at 72 this time of the year. Low last night, very mild, 69. Normals dropped to 51. Records stand 90, set back in 1964. 31 degrees, set back in 1963. What we're looking at right now, as far as the pollen and the mold spores go also, both of them, they're low end of the scale because we're looking like a lot of rain around here. They'll probably stay low as far as irritants go because of the precipitation in the atmosphere. Here is the jet stream, a lot of very warm air being pumped up from the Gulf of Mexico. Very strong onshore winds. Galveston, Texas is reporting tidal flooding. They have unusually high astronomical tidal waves in effect right now. They also have these strong winds that are pumping up all of this water right now. As far as the highs across the country, in the 80s out in the east, very warm still. In the desert southwest, a little bit cooler just to the north of us, but that won't be headed our direction because the systems are moving so slow. Here's all the moisture picking up on the satellite picture across the country. The eastern half of the nation, most of the central half of the nation also has been experiencing some very stormy weather in association with this same system that we are watching slowly start to slide our direction. It's going to continue to pump up all of that very warm, very moist air. We're expecting showers in the forecast over the next 5 days or so. This is tomorrow's map, a lot like today. We're looking for partly sunny conditions on and off throughout the day, so don't be surprised if we see some sunshine. Just take some umbrellas if you're headed outside around here tomorrow. Traveling forecast, 83 Chicago, 83 down also in Indianapolis, looking for scattered thunder shower activity. Some sunshine here and there. Here's the forecast across Michiana tonight. Southwest lower Michigan, scattered showers and thunderstorms with a low of 63 degrees. And then tomorrow, scattered showers once again, high about 80. Across the region tonight, scattered evening thunderstorms. We're expecting them a low of 68 degrees. The winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And then tomorrow, partly sunny. Looking for a possibility of those afternoon thunderstorms, high of 85. Friday night looking partly cloudy with a low of 65 degrees. And then for Saturday, thunder showers are possible with a high of 80. Saturday night, we're looking for them to stick around. In 5 days, we're looking, in fact, very muggy, very warm with the possibility of rain. Here's your preliminary outlook. Thunder showers are possible for the race. The Indianapolis 500, of course, WSJV starts the coverage 10 a.m. The flag drops at 11. Temperature 79 degrees. Thunder showers are possible, so we're looking a little bit wet and a little bit damp, and I promised my Bobcats I would wear this T-shirt. I hope this works. We're holding it up. We visited this morning at about 11 o'clock this morning into 1 o'clock. We visited the first graders. We started and talked a little bit about weather, yes.
Well, I got a goodie today, too, from the kids at Mary Beck at the kindergarten. I went out and read them a story today, and it was a lot of fun. It's good to get out and about, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a lot of fun. The kids are real smart.
They are.
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle. Coming up in sports, we're going to find out what Bob Uecker is doing at the Indianapolis 500. Stay tuned. You'll sit on the front row when Newswatch 28 continues right after this.
Looking for a real new car value? Your Michiana Olds Pros have the Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. And now, only your Michiana Olds Pros can give you the option of a $1,500 rebate or 3.9% financing for 36 months, making your monthly payments even more affordable. It's a great family value, the Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. And only at your authorized Michiana Olds Pro can you choose between a $1,500 rebate or 3.9% financing. So hurry into your nearest Michiana Olds Pro today for the best new car deal.
You can do it with true value.
Some colors are loud and others are quiet. Give your home a look of its own with True Test Easy Care Interior Latex Paint. It goes on smoothly, is spatter resistant, comes in 4 durable finishes, and is available in hundreds of beautiful colors. True Test Easy Care Flat starts at just $10.98 a gallon during spring paint savings at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
At Builder Square, this 16-foot colonial chair rail molding costs $13.44. And carrying it through the store, not to mention getting it paid for, can be an acrobatic experience. At Circle Lumber, our everyday price on colonial chair rail is $4 less. And you don't have to carry it through our showroom because Circle Lumber delivers it free, no matter how large, how small, or how inconvenient. Circle Lumber, helping Michiana for 27 years.
I'm Jordan Casson. I'm Jim Basney. For 3 days, Ford is having the largest truck leadership drive you may ever see.
For 3 days, Ford will beat all competition with savings from PEP discounts and cash back.
Special financing from Ford includes 3.9 on F-Series, Ranger, and Aerostar.
This is your chance to buy one of America's best-selling trucks and get 3.9% financing. This is only for 3 days.
It's at Jordan Ford
and Basney Ford.
It's been a big week in Major League Baseball and a big day in Major League Baseball, Mitch.
Absolutely incredible. The pitching staff of the Philadelphia Phillies has been a joke this season, but today, Tommy Green got the last laugh. Today, Green threw a no-hitter at the Montreal Expos, eventually winning the game 2-0. Ironically, Green wasn't even scheduled to start this afternoon's game, but an injury to Danny Cox gave him the chance of a lifetime.
I really didn't think about it. I just go out there and try to keep us in the ball game, and it turned out we were in a 1-0 game the whole game, except to the bottom of that inning when Fletch hit the ball and Vaughn scored. Mine, I was going right at them, and you know, if they hit it, fine. If they didn't, fine. You know, and it worked out in my favor.
Today, the Baltimore Orioles fired their manager, Frank Robinson. They just said, get out of here. That's the third Major League manager to get the axe in the last 3 days. The Orioles were hoping for a much better start this season with the offseason acquisitions of players like Glenn Davis and Dwight Evans, but injuries and subpar pitching, to say the least, has left the O's in dead last of the American League East. Big Frank has been replaced on an interim basis by third base coach Johnny Oates. In South Bend today, a press conference was held to announce how things are coming in regard to obtaining that AAA baseball franchise. South Bend is still in the running, but the fight is far from over.
We've got a beautiful ballpark. The community is really behind baseball in South Bend with the South Bend White Sox in the Michiana area. This is the one where we can get them to come to the ballpark, which they are. They'll see exactly what it all involves, and we're real excited.
Now, the AAA Expansion Committee will be in Michiana next week to take a look at South Bend, Notre Dame, as well as Kovaleski Stadium. We should find out more on if we make that cut in the coming weeks. And finally tonight, we'll see what Bob Uecker is doing at the Indianapolis 500. It sounds bizarre, but I'm a pretty bizarre guy.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
They didn't say famous drivers start your engines or last year's champion start your engine. I believe it was gentlemen start your engines, good for all 33 cars. From the high-dollar Penske boys to the drivers who had to beg, borrow, and speed just to make the field. You know, so much attention goes to drivers like Mario Andretti and A.J. Foyt that sometimes the guys in the back can get lost in the shuffle. But just like Bob Uecker, they'd like to be on the front row, but on the 11th row of the Indianapolis 500 is not a bad place to be.
For instance, Gordon Johncock was the 33rd qualifier on the outside of row number 11. But just 2 weeks ago, he was sitting home in semi-retirement. And how about Dominic Dobson? He's the guy who smashed the wall on the first weekend of qualifications, only to come back with a knee brace and a cane and the will to win, which in his case was just to qualify.
So I was just fortunate to be able to come back out and run again and have Terry Trammell and all the guys were fantastic, built me up a brace and supported my leg, so it really wasn't a problem in the car.
You see, the guys in the back won't let a silly knee injury be a problem. The problem is to beat the odds and somehow qualify for the race.
So at the speed, you know, for the whole field being at 218, it's going to be a pretty quick race. I don't think you'll see too many stragglers, although we do know the front runners are going to take off and run 220s right off the bat, and if we can hang with them, you know, till about halfway, we'll be in good shape.
But perhaps the greatest story of determination came from Willie T. Ribbs. He survived 4 blown engines and still didn't give up. Remember, the guys in the back are more hungry for ribs, as in Willie T. Ribbs, who became the first black driver to ever qualify for the 500-mile race.
The social implications don't mean as much. Maybe when I'm an old man they might, but not now. I'm a racing driver. I've won a lot of races and championships in my life, and I want to continue.
Ari Lyondike comes for the checkered flag and picks up the...
Ari Lyondike won last year's Indianapolis 500. But who came in second? Who came in 22nd, for that matter? You see, if you look past the winner's circle, you'll find plenty of winners who just didn't win the race. Once again, the race is this Sunday here on 28 WSJV.
Coming up, Mitch, we got a little guy who is no jungle beast. You'll get to meet Rhino on Pick of the Pets when we come back.
Your Better Buick dealers are on a roll. At a time when most model sales are down, Buick is up. Regal up 93%. Park Avenue up 37%. Skylark up 12%. Now, to push sales even higher, your Better Buick dealers have an extra shipment of new Buicks with deals so great they're guaranteed to put you back in the market for a new car. Plus, get up to $2,000 factory cash back on selected models, which means you can own a new Skylark from just $10,790. The deals keep rolling at your Better Buick dealer.
Expensive catering service? You fix this yourself? Then how?
From small family picnics to elegant garden parties, the deli at Martin Supermarkets has what you need to make any occasion special. Remember, when it looks and tastes this good, it must be Martin's.
For the holiday, one might think Highland would relax monitoring the competition's prices. No way. In fact, to assure you that Highland's prices are incredibly low, we're sending a few extra agents into the field. Dismissed.
Right now, during Highland's pre-holiday sale, this Hotpoint portable window air conditioner is just $177. Plus, you'll find savings on hundreds of other items.
Jenkins. Bit much, don't you think?
These are GMC truck products.
Now take a look.
Go ahead, take a good look.
Of course, you can't see all the quality features and available options, but we can tell you this.
One visit to your hometown GMC truck dealer before you decide to buy will convince you that it's not just a truck anymore.
It's quality on the road.
Come take a test drive. See what quality feels like before you make a mistake and buy something else.
Visit your hometown GMC truck dealer right now, because right now, quality costs less.
It's not just a truck anymore.
Michelle is back with a small dog who has a big name. And as far as the dogs on Pick of the Pets go, we're really not sure at all about this combination tonight, Michelle, about Rhino here.
Rhino the Chihuahua, that's about it. I think he's as big as he's going to get, though, Sharon, isn't he?
Yes, he's 3 years old, so he's full grown. He is a Chihuahua mix. He's partially housebroken, so I think a little bit more training why he would be totally housebroken. He's also very good with walking with a leash, and he does that real well. He wouldn't need a fence because of his size.
Okay.
And he likes a lot of love and attention.
Yes, he is a very calm, very well-mannered little dog. He's 3 years old.
Yes.
Okay, definitely won't be growing anymore. Looks like a miniature German Shepherd, we were saying.
That's what I thought. When I first saw him, I thought he looked like he shrunk.
Okay, so Rhino needs a home right now. He, of course, is a Chihuahua mix. Back to Mike.
Another group of graduates to the list of graduating people this month of May, and make it a long list because about 1,400 fifth graders have graduated from the South Bend Police Department's DARE program. DARE tries to reduce the demand for drugs by teaching kids how to handle peer pressure and stay drug-free. The kids were so excited about what they've learned that today they shared the message in skits with the rest of the students at St. Matthew's Elementary. And the message is easy: just say no. That's all our time tonight. Thanks for yours. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sears Grand Central Carnival of Values presents Petey, the Balancing Bulldog. Up, Petey. Come on, boy. Now with this LXI low-light camcorder with high-speed shutter and just $17 a month, you'll capture all the action. Up, Petey. Come on, boy. You can do it. And because you get an additional telephoto lens, you won't miss a trick. The Sears Carnival of Values. Amazing brand-name electronics and appliances. Now it's breathtaking prices. Say, boy.
Dodge Shadow Convertible. Now, cash incentives make it even more affordable. Start with $1,000 cash back. Plus, an additional $500 for first-time car buyers drops Dodge Shadow to $11,495, including an airbag.
Rediscover American value at your local Mid-America Dodge dealer today.
Arsenio, weeknights after Nightline.
Everybody really liked him because he was so funny.
He asked me to kill his wife. It's like I was a different person.
He had the happiest face in Ohio until Buttons the Clown was accused of plotting his wife's murder.
Beth, forgive me. I do love you.
Now he's in jail and no one's laughing.
Kids, I'm sorry that I'm not there with you.
No clowning around. Elizabeth Roberts was called for jury duty, but the lawyers threw her out of court.
I feel like I was treated like a brainless twit.
And then she got another shock, a letter from the murderer.
How in the world did he get my address?
Her civic duty turned into a nightmare, all because she was too sexy to serve. Brave Kimberly Bergalis refuses to die in vain.
She was given this amount of time to do something. Once she has completed it, she's going to go.
On the day that frightening news is released of another possible case like Kimberly's, she makes her final plea. Never say goodbye. Hello, I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair. For 10 years, Leroy Hollinger made a living out of making people laugh. Kids knew him as Buttons the Clown, but police say beneath the happy face lurked an evil mind plotting murder. Mary Garafello reports that now Buttons is behind bars and there's no more clowning around. In this quiet Ohio community, Buttons the Clown brought plenty of laughs to an otherwise uneventful little town.
Yeah, I knew him, and like everybody really liked him a lot because he was so funny and all that.
For 10 years, Leroy Hollinger transformed himself into Buttons the Clown. And with his funny hat, his multicolored happy face, and a big red nose, he delighted everyone. From hospital fundraisers to birthday parties, you could always count on Buttons for a laugh.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
Yeah, he's like the town clown. Everybody liked him.
But now Van Wert, Ohio wants nothing to do with their town clown, because Leroy now touts a new nickname, Van Wert's Killer Clown. He faces up to 10 years behind bars for trying to set up his wife's murder. And in this lonely jail cell fall the tears of a clown.
Kids, I'm sorry that I'm not there with you. I love you. And I want you to be good. And I'm proud of. And I am sorry that I did say I wanted to kill your mother.
He told my son, Jonathan, that if he couldn't kill me, he would sell his soul to the devil and let the devil do it.
But Buttons the Clown didn't have to go to the devil for help. He went to this man, George Martin, an old buddy who was trying to help Buttons through a messy and painful divorce. Martin stepped in after Buttons pulled a gun on his wife Elizabeth during an argument, and he wasn't clowning around.
He asked me to kill his wife, and he offered me his van to kill his wife, and I'd rather pay the man to kill her. I'd rather pay him for the van than kill his wife.
Leroy's 14-year marriage had ended, and his wife Elizabeth was terrified of her husband. She forbid him from seeing his 3 children. She was afraid of Leroy, but strangely, she cared for Buttons the Clown.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he'd come home and he'd be up. That would be a highlight. If he had done something, had a successful party, oh, yeah. It was nice to be around him then for a while because he felt worthwhile.
It was like I was a different person, you know. I wasn't myself, and I got to make kids happy.
Can I have this one?
Yeah. I forget about all my problems. There is no problems. You're in a fantasy land, you might as well say to yourself.
But Buttons' fantasy land soon became Elizabeth's nightmare when the town clown approached his good friend George Martin for advice on finding a hitman to kill his wife.
He said he had a $900 microwave. He said he would give this as a down payment. He said when, as far as he knew, the insurance had not been changed. So when she died, that he would get the money and he would pay the hitman the difference, and he would have his children and he would have a house to live in.
He wanted the furnace to be used, and he wanted me blown up.
So George went to the sheriff's department and introduced Leroy to a hitman. He came in the form of an undercover cop. Leroy pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of attempted felonious assault. He received a reduced sentence of 18 months to 10 years in jail. But Leroy says despite his guilty plea, he is innocent. He claims it was really his buddy George who wanted his wife Elizabeth murdered.
I thought I could get them set up and then go to the law with the proof that I had. I was trying to do the law in my own hands, and it don't work.
Leroy, a lot of people probably don't buy your story and they think you're lying.
Beth, forgive me. I do love you. And I didn't mean saying it.
This is all that's left of Buttons the Clown. His helium machine he used to fill up balloons for the children. And this box of props. They're all sitting here waiting for someone to pick them up. His ex-wife Elizabeth says she refuses to have any of it in the house. She says it's a painful reminder of a brutal man who tried to set up her murder for the price of a microwave. But Buttons says he paid a price far greater than his jail sentence for his crime. He says he killed the person in him that everyone loved, Buttons the Clown.
Buttons will soon be dead and gone and buried right in Van Wert somewhere. And never return. But always remember, don't see him as what happened, but see what he did for you and the people that he has helped and the charities that he's helped and raised money for the kids. But God bless all of you.
When we come back, the would-be juror dismissed for being too sexy.
I feel like I was treated like a brainless twit.
The lawyer liked her looks, and so did the defendant. Now she's getting fan mail from a killer. A proud young woman whose final plea must be heard.
She was handpicked by God, obviously.
Our philosophy at Alex Home Medical is we try to do small things in a great way.
At Alex Ivionics, our skilled IV nurses provide personal home care for IV therapy patients.
With our prescriptions, we include free delivery, and I really feel that sets us apart.
But we all work as a team. They're kind of like branches on a tree. We truly are a total healthcare professional.
Whew. Give me a beer and a brat.
Beer and a brat, coming up.
Where's the beer?
It's in the brat.
What?
The beer is in the brat. That's a Johnsonville beer and bratwurst. Get them at the store with the beer right in them.
Wow, I love them.
Johnsonville beer and bratwurst. Get them at the store with the beer right in them.
Hey, what kind of beer do they use? Oh!
How can you tell when you need help with a troubled teenager? Look for warning signs like dramatic change in appearance, rebellion, drugs, withdrawal, depression, maybe even talk of suicide. If you think your teen is in trouble, Charter can help. We offer real solutions to your family's problems.
Call Charter Hospital of South Bend today.
Looking for a real new car value? Your Michiana Olds Pros have the Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. And now, only your Michiana Olds Pros can give you the option of a $1,500 rebate or 3.9% financing for 36 months, making your monthly payments even more affordable. It's a great family value, the Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. And only at your authorized Michiana Olds Pro can you choose between a $1,500 rebate or 3.9% financing. So hurry into your nearest Michiana Olds Pro today for the best new car deal.
When Konstantin Fotopoulos was arrested for murder, he was to be judged by a jury of his peers, but it was his peering at a pretty juror that caused some turmoil at the trial. A lawyer decided Elizabeth Roberts' good looks brought the wheels of justice to a grinding halt. Our Mike Watkins reports a lawyer decided she was too sexy to serve.
All I tried to do was my civic duty.
Elizabeth Roberts is an American patriot, meaning that when a letter recently came in the mail instructing her to report for jury duty, despite all the personal hardships, Elizabeth was more than willing to serve.
I thought I could do a good job of it. I'm a very fair person, and I thought I would have been a great juror.
Yet when Elizabeth Roberts reported for jury duty in one of the biggest and most high-profile murder cases in the history of the state of Florida, this 25-year-old young woman had no idea of the fear and humiliation that she herself was about to be subjected to. For almost immediately, it seems, Elizabeth was on trial. The reason? Well, apparently a number of men inside the courtroom simply thought that Elizabeth Roberts was too pretty to function as a juror.
I just felt like I have not done anything wrong, and I feel accused when I haven't done anything wrong. I thought I was doing everything right.
She was devastated when this happened because it made her feel if this is how the system works, then there is no justice.
Yet after sitting through 2 long days of jury selection, this professional artist was sent home. After one of the attorneys in the case, State Prosecutor John Tanner, was allegedly overheard by reporters saying, because of Elizabeth's beauty, she would be distracting to the lawyers.
I feel like I was treated like a brainless twit that, you know, wasn't good enough to be on the jury duty because she's pretty. Of course, she couldn't have the brain. She couldn't make decisions, you know, that type of thing. And I've always prided myself. I've got 2 degrees magna cum laude on both. I'm very proud of my accomplishments, you know, and far from a brainless twit. And that's very frustrating.
Yet that frustration and anger soon turned to fear for this single parent when she went out to her mailbox again a few days later and found another letter. This time, fan mail from the man whose murder case she was to have decided. A cold-blooded killer named Konstantin Fotopoulos, a 30-year-old Greek immigrant now convicted of murdering 2 young men and attempting to murder his own wife, a fact that horrifies Elizabeth Roberts, because in the letter she received from Fotopoulos, the killer, like the prosecuting attorney, seems to have been captivated by her charms and beauty.
It made me very nervous. How in the world did he get my address?
How did he get your
I
address?
have no idea.
Are you scared about that?
Of course I'd be scared. Think about it. I mean, the man has been accused of killing 2 people.
We wanted to get a comment about the treatment of Elizabeth Roberts in this Florida courthouse. We first approached Fotopoulos' lawyer.
How did your client get the address of the young woman he wrote to the juror?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you
I'm sure it was on the jury list. It was on our table.
Did you know he was going to write to this young woman?
No.
Great. Thanks.
We then tried to question State Attorney John Tanner.
A woman being too attractive or something, being a distraction. Any comments on that matter?
Well, I can't comment on this particular case. If I can say this, I have never excused a juror because of their sex or their looks.
Was that comment made? Did you say that?
That comment was not the reason the juror was excused from the court. And I cannot comment on this particular case until the case is over.
And after the trial, Tanner did comment, denying he'd ever made the remarks, saying that Elizabeth was dismissed because he didn't like the fact that Fotopoulos was playing up to her. It's an explanation that doesn't wash with Elizabeth's mother.
I mean, I'm prejudiced. I think Libby's a pretty girl, you know, but there's a lot more beautiful women, and if that's what's going to take to stop our courts from having decent human beings and to do their job, I think that was wrong. I think it was wrong with him to make such a statement.
And Elizabeth Roberts agrees, saying next time she goes to court, she hopes justice is blind.
All I want to do is serve on the jury. I thought it would have been great. And it's turned into a huge joke, which no jury should do that. I mean, it's just, to me, the judicial process is not a joke.
Konstantin Fotopoulos was sentenced to death in that sensational trial. Now, when we come back, a breaking news story adds new meaning to the unforgettable message of Kimberly Bergalis.
There's a reason, you know, and I just hope that God will give me the strength to be able to cope with something like that. And
her story being told, Kimberly doesn't want to die in vain.
You don't say goodbye to her. You say so long.
We'll have that in just a moment.
Now through Memorial Day Monday, it's Carpetland USA's half-off holiday sale. Now take half off every carpet in the store. Half off every carpet. Plus get free pad and free credit till January. Then pop a balloon and win a car phone, a vacation, instant money, or up to 25% more off the sale price. Every balloon's a winner. It's Carpetland USA's half-off holiday sale. Half off carpet, free pad, free credit, and more. Hurry! Sale ends Monday.
Go, Hammer, I'm starving. Let's get some burgers. Burgers? Man, that's out the door. I got something much better in mind. Come on, let's break. It's my weakness. Pump it up, girl. Yo, weakness. Now that's the way the Hammer runs for the border. Because the border's in order. Yo, weakness.
Just how quiet is a heat pump?
You can just faintly hear the fans running. The unit that I have is very quiet.
We've been very satisfied with the noise level. We really don't even know that it's operating.
When the air conditioning kicked on, we had to sometimes go out and deck and look around the corner to see if it was on. And I mean, it is quiet.
Disney Pictures, Sonora Webster dreamed of glory.
What's your secret wish?
To get to Atlantic City. It's the greatest showplace in America. And someday, I'm going to be there.
But along the way,
I'm going to be right here to help you.
She would discover that falling in love...
Please, I need your help.
I don't want you hurt.
...can be the greatest triumph of all.
Are you going to marry me, yes or no?
Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Rated G.
Starts tomorrow at a theater near you. Check newspapers.
It's a triple grand opening at Rarick's Rent to Own. Rarick's now has 3 new locations in Marion, Rochester, and Hobart, Indiana. During this grand opening event, rent the first week and get the second week free on anything in our stores. TVs, VCRs, stereos, appliances, furniture, and more. Grand opening savings on now at all 10 Indiana locations of Rarick's Rent to Own.
Nobody rents quality for them. Rarick.
Today comes frightening news that a Maryland dentist who treated thousands of unsuspecting patients may have spread the AIDS virus. The patients are being offered free testing, but there is, of course, no cure. Kimberly Bergalis was the first person to bring this side of a medical tragedy to light. We've told you her story before. Tonight, as Mary Hughes explains, Kimberly's courage seems more important than ever. Even as she faces her final days, she knows that her message will live on.
I will always remember Kimberly Bergalis this way. Chin angled slightly into the wind, her hair blown back, her blue eyes set far into the distance. The picture says everything about her courage, her grace, and her faith.
I don't want to suffer. I mean, whoever does, but if I have to, I will. You know, if that's what's going to happen, if I'm going to have cancer sores all over my face, I'm going to have, you know, I can't breathe, and then that's what I have to do. There's a reason, you know, and I just hope that God will give me the strength to be able to cope with something like that, and that my family can cope with it.
No one quite believed that Kimberly would ever die, but today she lies almost motionless in her family's home. At 23, she's dying of AIDS. The drugs that calm her and dull the pain also sap her strength and slow her speech. But she has called us because she still has something to say.
AIDS is a horrible disease. We need to have mandatory laws.
Mandatory laws?
Yes.
You want to see doctors test it?
Yes.
And what do you say to the medical community that was so skeptical about your case in the beginning?
I laugh.
Doctors were certain Kimberly had AIDS, but how she got it was at first a mystery.
I never had a blood transfusion. I never engaged in, you know, sexual activity. I never used IV drugs. So it just didn't make any sense.
It is no longer disputed that Kimberly got AIDS from Dr. David Acker during a routine dental procedure in his Florida office. At least 2 other patients here have also contracted AIDS. As Kimberly lies dying, the courts and the medical community still argue over what should be done. Whether healthcare workers should be tested for AIDS, whether patients should have informed consent. Insurance companies will have to decide how much of a liability AIDS-infected doctors are, how much of a risk they pose to their patients. For Kimberly and her family, there is only consolation in being able to spare others her fate.
I feel that she was given this amount of time to do something, which she's done. And I said, once she has completed it, I said, she's going to go. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
Well, who better could have been chosen to be afflicted with this deadly disease in the manner in which she was, and to have to bring this to the attention of the whole world than Kimberly? There wasn't a better candidate. I mean, she was handpicked by God, obviously.
In a letter she wrote only a month ago, Kimberly rails at the medical community that did not protect her and others. She wanted to share it with us. Her family and friends read parts.
When I was diagnosed with AIDS in December of 1989, I was only 21 years old. It was the shock of my life and my family's as well. I thought I would die right then and there. Well, I lived.
I have lived to see my hair fall out, my body lose over 40 pounds.
Chronic fevers of 103 to 104 that don't go away anymore. I now have confusion and forgetfulness.
I've had blood transfusions. I've lived through the fear of whether or
I've lived
not...
to see white fungus grow all over the inside of my mouth, the back of my throat, my gums.
My life has been sheer hell, except for the good times and closeness with my family and my...
AIDS has slowly destroyed me. Unless a cure is found, I'll be another one of your statistics soon.
Do I blame myself? I sure don't. I never used IV drugs, never slept with anyone.
You know what it's like to look at yourself in a full-length mirror before you shower and you only see a skeleton?
Someone else will go through what I've been through. We need laws to protect against this.
Open your eyes. If laws are not formed to provide protection, then my suffering and death was in vain. I'm dying, guys. Goodbye.
Yesterday I asked you if you felt ready, and you said yes and no. How you feeling about that?
I'm ready. But I just don't seem to be able to go.
But you want to?
Yeah.
Is there something holding you back, you think?
My family.
It's like my sister said, you don't say goodbye to her. You say so long, because we're going to see her again. So you never say goodbye.
In the end, there is nothing to do but give comfort. In the end, death is about letting go and the inevitability of things, like 5-card stud with no extra draw. As I massaged her hands, I realized she could have been a child of mine, my sister, my best friend. As I left Kimberly, I remembered what she had told me long ago.
There's a poem, and it's called Footprints, and it says how there was a man who was walking along the beach, and he was, depressed and upset, and he said, God, he said, where are you? Because he turned around, and there was only one set of footprints, and he said, my Lord, you abandoned me. When I need you most, you weren't there for me. And God came to him, and he said, no, he said, I've carried you. He said, those are my footprints. And I always think about that, and I think that's what he sent. Either it was God himself or he sent somebody, and they just came down and they said, hey, don't cry, it's okay. Whether I survive or not, it's going to be okay.
We'll be right back.
Snack it up, go on, pack it up. Oh yeah, stack it up, go on, stack it up. Chinette super strong, you bet. No, nothing stacks up to Chinette. No, nothing stacks up to Chinette.
It takes 5 of these paper plates to stack up to the molded strength of 1 Chinette paper plate.
Chinette super strong, you bet. No, nothing stacks up to Chinette.
Driving a Hyundai Excel has never felt better. Maybe that's because they're so reliable. After all, 96% of all Hyundais ever sold are still on the road. But then again, with all the extras you can get, you feel good even when you're not on the road. Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai.
From Touchstone Pictures, What About Bob is America's #1 comedy hit.
Hi, I'm Bob. Would you knock me out?
Critics call it howlingly funny.
I'm sailing!
The Murray-Dreyfuss chemistry explodes with laughter.
It's a combustible relationship.
They're a terrific comedy team. In a movie that will leave you weak from laughter.
It makes my lips numb to think about it.
And Time magazine calls it hilarious. What About Bob? Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspapers for showtime. The winning drive is now at your Michiana Pontiac dealer. Pontiac Bonneville, equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, 3-year, 50,000-mile warranty, and a powerful V6 engine. Plus, now get factory-to-dealer incentives for even bigger Pontiac savings. Choose from over 147 Bonnevilles in stock throughout the Michiana area. For a sure shot every time, see our Michiana Pontiac dealer.
Some are calling it the Preppy murder, and the only thing more shocking than the killing is the alleged murderer's defense.
Inside this $1 million mansion, 2 young lovers began a wild orgy of sex and drugs that ended with a body buried in the basement. Shane Pitts admits to killing his pregnant lover, but claims the LSD she scrambled into his breakfast drove him to mindless murder.
He didn't do it in his right mind.
The Breakfast Club Killer.
That's tomorrow. And that's all for tonight. Thanks for being with us. Good night.
For the holiday, one might think Highland would relax monitoring the competition's prices. No way. In fact, to assure you that Highland's prices are incredibly low, we're sending a few extra agents into the field. Dismissed.
Right now, during Highland's pre-holiday sale, this Zenith 19-inch color TV is just $199. Plus, you'll find savings on hundreds of other items.
Jenkins. Bit much, don't you think?
If ever you're not satisfied with one of our tires, please feel free to bring it back. Thank you. Discount Tire Company.
These are GMC truck products.
Now take a look.
Go ahead, take a good look.
Of course, you can't see all the quality features and available options, but we can tell you this.
One visit to your hometown GMC truck dealer before you decide to buy will convince you that it's not just a truck anymore.
It's quality on the road.
Come take a test drive. See what quality feels like before you make a mistake and buy something else.
Visit your hometown GMC truck dealer right now, because right now, quality costs less.
It's not just a truck anymore.
Time is running out. At Tepe's Fine Jewelers and Catalog Showrooms, Mr. Elmer Tepe has announced final price reductions. Tepe's must sell every piece of their multi-million-dollar inventory. Thousands of items must be sold at a fraction of their original cost. Now save 40 to 75% on exquisite diamond rings, fine jewelry, 14-karat gold chains, earrings, Seiko watches, gifts, furniture, clothing, and more. Hurry now for best selection.
Your better Buick dealers are on a roll. At a time when most model sales are down, Buick is up. Regal up 93%. Park Avenue up 37%. Skylark up 12%. Now, to push sales even higher, your better Buick dealers have an extra shipment of new Buicks with deals so great they're guaranteed to put you back in the market for a new car. Plus, get up to $2,000 factory cash back on selected models, which means you can own a new Skylark from just $10,790. The deals keep rolling at your better Buick dealer.
Nia Peoples, weeknights after Arsenio.
Next on Father Dowling.
Welcome home. We have a sister from California who's visiting. I would appreciate it if you would show her around.
Keep your head pulled over your ankles.
We've already discussed this, and I'm going to do it my way.
She wasn't a nun, Frank. She was a cop.
You have a problem with obedience, sister.
Are you trying to give me a heart attack? I'll be back. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Tag along with the mark. Well, what's this mark going to do with a dead stitch?
Snitch.
Snitch. Freeze!